what is exactly your goal when you're collecting something? For me, I've always wanted to build a world of comic book characters that I've fallen in love with, DC and Marvel. I wanted a representation of both, but more specifically, I wanted a representation of both that scales with one another, that looks good with one another. And I've been collecting for a better part of 30 years, more so than that. Yes, I'm an old guy. And that has always been my goal, but it's been hard because each intellectual property has been controlled by different companies and they don't play well with each other, starting from Secret Wars to the superpowers. They both scale differently, they both look differently, they both articulated differently, and it's still kind of hard to do that. One of the reasons why I got really excited with Mezco was from the very, very beginning, they had, for some reason, they had both DC and Marvel, and they were both styled the same way, even though they're not styled in a cartoon or comic book style accurate. They had a Mezco design style. I was really, really excited for that because finally, one company had um, license for both, and you can play it with it. But unfortunately, I kind of fell out on Mezco, and they were kind of getting expensive. And then they had the exclusivity thing, which prevented me from buying certain styles that I wanted. I Anyway, now there's so many companies out there that are dipping their toes in this genre that I'm interested in, and I finally have enough of a collection that I'm kind of happy with. And these two, I just put it in there because I'm not gonna do a review on them, so I just put them out there. But this is from Hasbro, the Marvel Legends series, cartoon, comic book style. So we'll start off with my favorite, my main focus, which would be DC. And we'll start off with the much dreaded 1989 Batwing from Mezco. This is the figure that broke my interest in any Mezco products. There was a lot of frustration involved with this figure and with the company's response, but I'm slowly getting into Mezco because they do have really good. Um, there is value in their product if you're willing to do some limitations on what to expect from them. The next is the 1978 Christopher Reeve Mezco. So now we have the two iconic movies representation of these characters. You cannot deny that. But unfortunately, we don't have Wonder Woman. All right, from Mezco. Maybe not yet. Maybe they will. But surprisingly, Mattel came out with a Linda Carter version. It's not bad because even with Mezco, when they do flesh tone, they do plastics, so they still do articulated joints. But surprisingly, Mattel at this point in time did not have pins exposed. They covered their pins on the last version of their DC Universe Classics. This is from the DC Master line, or I can't remember which line it is. But this is the Linda Carter version. Look at that. It's not bad, right? And the face, like for a $20 figure, I believe this was $20 when it came out. That's really not bad. So when I thought about when I saw that, and it's like, wait a minute, I also happen to have the 1990s TV series Flash. Look at how they scale it one. It's perfect. I mean, this could have been okay. When it comes to Mezco, don't go to the rubber bodies. They don't have experience for it, and they don't have the proper customer service to fix it. And this would have been nice for that, but even still, this is not bad for a simple toy, a plastic toy. Again, this is from the same line as this one, or same time, so no pins. That is cool. So now we have I believe this was John Wesley, the actor who played it. So now I have an almost Justice League, but then we never had around a movie time frame of this time of a representation of a Green Lantern. We don't have a Hawkman. So this is pretty much it. That's all you're gonna get. That's all you know. Yeah, so the cool thing is now, as we expand different toy collections, this scales with the old DC classics. Now, this is when, if you want to, now that you've finished off your main movie line or your live version, now you're going to the cartoon or comic book collection. This scales really good. And here's Superboy. Right, so now this whole thing now scales with the DC Direct Return of the Superman or Reign of the Superman collection. This is the BMS Kingdom Come Superman, which still scales. I think it's slightly taller, but I'm also getting the newer one, the newer version. The one will also come with Shazam or Captain Marvel. So I'll replace this later on. So I put in the Mafex version of the same character, even though it scales. And it's more articulated, and it's a better paint job. But this is so much more better, I think, in terms of evoking what's really from the comic books. So I think I prefer that. So I'm gonna remove him. I'm debating if this is the Mafex side. This is the Mafex Steel. And I'm debating whether I'm gonna use him with the Reign of the Superman, or I'm gonna use the original from the DC Direct, because I do have that. Now, as you can see, the way it plays with Marvel Legends, it plays very well with Marvel Legends. So for the comic book version, we have Captain America from Marvel Legends. Now the key thing to this is that this line scales very well with Marvel Legends. Marvel Legends, we do have a cartoon version and the Marvel Universe, so that's cool. Now here's something I don't know if you guys have noticed, but have you ever tried to pair up your Marvel Universe Captain America with your Marvel Legends Captain America? They don't scale with each other. They don't. The Marvel Universe characters are slightly smaller than the comic book version. Now that you might say, well, comic books are supposed to be bigger, larger than life. Yeah, but it wouldn't. I mean, I'm trying to do this to collect stuff that pair with each other, and this is just way too small. Unfortunately, because of that, they're now also way too small for this. Look, they're slightly smaller. They're on the same stand, but Captain America should be standing just as tall as Christopher Reeve. That's the problem. The secondary problem is, if you're interested in adding Indiana Jones, He's even smaller than the Marvel Cinematic figures. Unless, you know, what is up with that? It's the same company. I hate it when that happens because now, okay, so now basically Indiana Jones is out of my display. I mean, I don't have a lot of characters on them, so I can kind of futz with it, but it's not the same. Now, Captain Carter, weirdly enough, should still kind of fit. She's not on the stand, so she's gonna scale much better with Linda Carter. But as you can see, the face is actually bigger than Linda Carter's, but she's more proportionately correct than this one because this is still kind of like a toy. So she can kind of hang out, but then she's the only one from it because even Iron Man seems kind of small because he's supposed to be in armor, but he works better than Captain America. But this Captain America from the Marvel Universe is an older figure, but I don't want to have to buy another Captain America Marvel Universe. Honestly, I don't. I feel like they should have fixed the scale way back then. So that's fine because this is all that I have for the movie lines of DC. I don't have any more. So I don't need to display them with my Marvel Cinematic figures. They're on a completely different collection line. What was more important to me was because I have Marvel Legends, I needed a counterpart for their DC version, and McFarlane's DC Multiverse out of the picture. Now here is a DC Universe Classics line from way back, but you know, it still works scale wise with Marvel Legends, but even I have to admit that the line is just way too old to be compared to Marvel Legends. There just isn't any. This is just basically kind of you see it as a toy. It's just too old for this point right now. But surprisingly, DC Direct, man, look at how well this line stands up to a Marvel Legends of today. How old is this line at this point? What I would like to point out is the sculpting, very comic accurate, same as this one. The paint job, look at the paint job on this guy. Look at this, 2-tone, 3 tones, washings. This is DC Direct from way back. More paint application. Look at this guy. Now, admittedly, Marvel Legends now, when it comes to the faces, very well done. Very well done. Look at this one compared to Linda Carter. So admittedly, right now, Marvel Legends is concentrating their paint application on the faces, and they're very well done. Alright, the eyes, the shadowing and everything. But this also is from Mattel almost at least 5 years ago. They're not bad. It's really disappointing that Mattel lost the license then, or did not pursue the license then. If they had committed this much, I think they would have been still a good competitor. They just lost it at this point. But yeah, so now my goal is finding a line that can equal the character representation that I have with Marvel Legends now when it comes to DC. And now I'm gonna have to be looking into my older collections because I feel like this is a good representation. Unfortunately, with DC Direct, they're all over the place when it comes to scaling and broad body proportions with each other too. That was really bad on them. So, but this one's from the Dan Jurgens concentration of the comic book era representation of the reign of the Superman. It works pretty well. So that looks good. So I'll probably add more to this video, maybe a part 2, just as I go through my DC collections to figure out which one fits, which one doesn't. This one is the Alex Ross version, again from DC Direct. Unfortunately, he doesn't scale. He actually scales more towards McFarlane's figures, as a 7-inch maybe. Yeah, that's kind of unfortunate. This is from their classics version, representing comic book classics. I think he scales well. Again, the proportions are closer to what they were in the classic style of the comics, meaning 1960s, 1970s, Silver Age Batman, so that he works well with this one. So I'll add more. Maybe I'll do a part 2, depending on how you guys think. Obviously, the Marvel Legends collection is complete. They've done so much stuff and everything. So the question is now, where do you find your comparative DC characters that will scale towards the Marvel Legends? Even though this, I really do wish, because my DC Universe classics are complete. In a way, I can use them as a stand-in, but they're more towards an older line. It just doesn't fit anymore. So that's it for my really quick rant of where my collection is going. Where is your collection going? Of a world building, all encompassing DC versus Marvel line of characters of the 6-inch line variety. And I'll do more as I add more, and as I go through my DC Direct and any more figures for DC to be able to match my Marvel Legends. And we'll see what's going on. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys soon on a different video. Bye.